Yeah. Prof, does this all boil down to a structure of governance? Is that where we lost it, whereby the winner takes it all and the opposition is almost relegated, therefore making it almost a do-or-die situation for the political class?
Yeah, BBI was trying to address that in two ways, so that first we bring back an official opposition, so that those who have lost, sometimes if these figures are correct and if they will stand, then Raila was beaten by just 233,000 votes out of millions of voters. Basically, the country is divided into two. So if they are brought back into parliament in some structured way, by way of a really office of the official opposition, etc., etc., that's one of the ways. But there's another better way, which is to reorganize the structure of governance, so that instead of the president and the deputy, you have the president, deputy, prime minister, so that when there's an election, Kenya is facing Kenya. So we have two formations. And by the way, BBI is by default being implemented. Because the bone of contention with BBI that the Ruto team didn't want was the issue of VO, positions for people. But in practice, they gave Mudavadi what BBI was proposing. And Raila equally gave it to Kalonzo. So it's like they're agreeing we need prime minister. So that means, therefore, if you have these 5 positions, Kenya will be facing Kenya. You get it? And we have a test of that. Because with Ruto Kalenjin, Rigathi Kikuyu, Mudavadi Luya and Wetangula, Kingi from Coast, Mutua Kamba, Dito Railas, Luo, Kikuyu Mother, Luya Oparanya, Kalonzo Kamba, etc., etc., Joe Coastal and so on. You see, Kenya is facing Kenya. And that's why you can see the tensions are less, to tell us that BBI was indeed a good thing. But let me say something which Franklin has talked about. And this is what must be considered as we talk about the 4 commissioners. The structure of managing our election is such that the elections are not run by a secretariat. The elections are run by the commission, the commissioners. So the IEBC is the commissioners who have a full-time job. In other countries, the job is done by a secretariat. So that a big country like India can just have 3 commissioners. Because theirs is not a full-time job. So to understand this stalemate we have, you must look at the structure of governance of IEBC. It is the commissioners who are running the election and not the secretariat. The secretariat is an employee of the commission, and the commissioners are full-time. You can compare this with a corporation, a state corporation, a parastatal, for example, where, one, the board meets just once and deals with the policy issues and so on. The day-to-day running of the parastatal is by the CEO. But you could have another corporation where we have an executive chairman, so that the board has more control. And for example, at the university, we have now changed so that council is no longer just ceremonial. Council is the one now supposed to be doing the actual running of the university. So that's now different from the old council, where council was just to come and meet once, wanakula mandazi na chai, wanapewa allowance, wanaenda. You get it? So they are held responsible if anything goes wrong in the universities. Our IBC is run by the commissioners, not the secretariat. Secretariats are mere employees. For that reason, and we must come back to this issue of 4 commissioners. For that reason, even within the Supreme Court, a dissenting 4 out of 3 will present a major challenge to Chebukati in the Supreme Court. Because it is IBC that's running the election. It is IBC by law that processes the election, giving the results to Chebukati to announce. Chebukati does not process the election. No, the election is processed by IEBC. He's announcing the product given to him by IEBC. So if that IEBC has a majority of the commissioners telling him what you are doing is wrong, we don't agree, even before you go into the substance, which is where people of CPA will be and the lawyers, even before you go to the substance, there is something amiss. And I must finish by saying it is such a situations we want to avoid as a country, because we could tip over.
So we are back to the perceptions game again, because the law does not say anywhere that they need to agree. Otherwise, then the will of the Kenyan
the lawyers will tell you the law is clear that the decisions of IBC will be either by consensus, and where there is no consensus, the majority will carry that. It is there in black.
But then how does that...
So now the dispute here...
Of the Kenyans.
Some people...
Many people, Prof, who are arguing that if Kenyans voted a certain way and then 3 commissioners agreed with them and 4 dissented, and it is supposed to be a majority issue, then the will of the Kenyans will be subverted by these 4 who have dissented.
So the will of the Kenyans can be subverted in the same way it can be subverted by the Supreme Court. It's a zero-sum argument. Because you can vote in Uhuru Kenyatta and the Supreme Court of 7 people can say no. So once you have institutions, and those institutions have power that you have donated to them, you must allow them to use that power. So an argument against the 4 commissioners would be the same argument about 7 Supreme Court judges. In fact, you need only 4 to subvert in your argument the will of the people.
Okay. Let me